Today we're going to be learning how to make this Calendula moisturizer that contains shea butter and cocoa butter. It's very useful for your skin, for your hair. It's good for skin disease, cuts, rashes, wounds, even burns, cold sores, herpes, chicken pox, and irritations. And most of that comes from the calendula. So let's get into it. This is my first time making this. So as you can see, it came out very fluffy with a food processor. So let's get into it. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you like and subscribe for recipes and reviews in New York City and around the world. So what we're going to do is we're going to double boil the calendula in extra virgin olive oil. So usually you would need to do this for like months in a dark container and let it seep and get all the nutrients from the calendula. But you can do it this way for now, but just note that if you want to make this, just get a dark container, put your calendula in your extra virgin olive oil and let it sit there for maybe 2-3 months on your counter or somewhere dark. And then you can just add the oils instead of having to do this process. But seeing how this is my first time and I just got this calendula because I am growing it in my backyard. This is what calendula looks like when it's dried, right? It's a flower where you can use it also for your teas. But today we're going to be making the moisturizer with the calendula. So what you do is you just take your dried calendula and you put it in a double boiler, and here you have is the oil, and I'm adding the calendula. So the double boiler, though, for those of you who don't know, you just have to use a pot underneath with water. It's boiling, and then you need a boil above it, and that's it. You let it sit there. So I'm going to let it steep for about an hour to 2 hours. In this video I did it for an hour, but you can do it for 2. And you just want to return to the kitchen, periodically to check on your double boiler. You want to ensure that you're adding water if the water is evaporating quickly, but it shouldn't, because you should have it on low heat. And after the hour, you have extracted some of the nutritional properties from the calendula, and it should be infused in your oils. You can see the extra virgin olive oil turning colors, so you know that you're doing what needs to be done. So here it is, it's done. And still I didn't need to add any water because you see how I had it boiling on low for an hour. And then we just bring it over to another container, and then you're just gonna pour it in there. I do not strain it just yet because I still have to melt my shea butter and the cocoa butter. So I let it sit there so it can continue extracting the nutritional properties from the calendula. And here I have my shea butter and my cocoa butter, and as you can see, the color is a bit different. But shea butter is rich in vitamin A and E, helping to deeply moisturize the skin and promote healing. And the cocoa butter is packed with fatty acids that improve skin elasticity and create a protective barrier to lock in moisture. So both butters are known for reducing the appearance of scars, stretch marks, and dry patches, making them a natural skincare. And as you can see here, I am not measuring the amounts. I am just taking a little portion of each butter, and I'm just trying to make sure that it's about the same. The professionals will weigh the shea butter and the oil by ounces. This is my first time actually making it. There's a lot of videos on YouTube if you look for how to make shea butter, but I wanted to use both of these butters and calendula because I have been doing a lot of research about natural remedies for different things. I have been experiencing some extra dry skin, so I did find that shea butter and cocoa butter help. And as you can see here, this melts very quickly. Once you put it in the double boiler, you see that it's melting. I will share at the end of the video the book that I purchased that has all the secrets to the herbal remedies. You know, you want to go natural, that book, you're going to want it into you're gonna want to add it to your library. I really recommend it. But as you can see, the shea butter and the cocoa butter has melted very quickly, and now I am going to strain everything. This part you can use a cheesecloth, but I didn't have one at the time, and honestly this was fine. You know, it strained everything and there wasn't much of the calendula left in the oils. So if you don't have a cheesecloth, you don't have to worry. Just strain it with your regular strainer you have in your house. You see? Very simple. And you'll see that there's not much of the calendula left in the pot. And I'm using this wooden spreader to just squeeze out as much of the oil as I can. That spreader, I also use it to scoop out whatever shea butter that might be left at the very bottom of the container that I will store it later. You will see later in the video. But that's it. That is how you extract the nutritional properties of the calendula and infuse it into your shea butter and cocoa butter. Now we're going to move on to adding essential oils. So I have this essential oil that I purchased when I last visited Ocean's Casino in Atlantic City. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it below. But we did go to the spa. I went to the spa on my own, and then again I went back to Ocean's Casino with my mother and my aunt. And my aunt actually, Ramona, hi Thea, actually purchased this oil for me. So I'm adding a bit of the oil into the butter and just stirring it up. And this is just going to give it a nice little scent of grape seed oil, because that's what it is, grapefruit. And I forget the other oil. I will link it below so that you guys know. But you can add whatever essential oil you want. I'm adding a lot, you know, so normally you don't add this much, but I was smelling the oil and I wanted to get some more scent of the grapefruit versus the shea butter, because shea butter does have a scent, but I just wanted to add a little bit more of the oil. But here I am covering it up. You want to put a lid, or you can put saran wrap, whatever you have, and then you're just going to pop it in the freezer for an hour. The reason I say an hour is because I did put it in the freezer for only 30 minutes. And then after the 30 minutes, it wasn't completely done, as you can see here in the video. So I put it in for another 30 minutes, and there you have it. After an hour, the cocoa butter is hard. So you don't want it to be rock solid. You want it to be smooth enough that you can just scoop it out, because now comes the fun part. You're going to scoop everything out, and then you're going to put it in a pot where you can mix it. If you don't have a pot where you can mix it with a pot mixer, then you can use your food processor. I don't have one of those mixers, so I just use the food processor, and I was just hoping that it would turn out well, because in every video that you see on YouTube, they use a mixer, and I don't have one. So I was like, you know what? Let me try with my food processor, and it did turn out well. As you can see here in the video, it's nice and fluffy, and there it is. Nice, fluffy cocoa and shea butter infused with calendula oils. And then you want to place it in glass containers. Do not use plastic, people. Use glass. If you're going to go through all the trouble of making your own, moisturizer, then use glass. You can purchase mason jars or use jars that you have in the house, because that jar that I'm placing my shea and cocoa butter calendula infused oil is a container of the vegan wrench that I buy at Whole Foods. So I just cleaned the bottle, sanitized it, and took out the label, and there I used it for storing some shea butter. I actually created so much that I was able to give some to my future mother-in-law. She is currently suffering from lung cancer, so she is going to be taking radiation soon, and in the paperwork it did state that she should start moisturizing, and they would give her like a special moisturizer. So I said, so how about I just make some natural moisturizer for her instead of more processed things. So here, this container is specifically for her, and I know she's going to enjoy it because I've been using this oil for the past week and I can see the difference in my skin. It's not as dry as before. You know, my lips also I used to suffer from really chapped lips, and this was very helpful to, you know, add moisture and keep the moisture in my skin. So I will highly recommend this recipe here. Honestly, there wasn't a recipe. As you saw, I did it by eye, but I promise you, you can do the same thing and it's going to come out perfect. Okay, you guys? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and share. And don't forget to comment down below. I know my aunt has requested for a lentil bread, and that video will be next. So stay tuned for next week's video on how to make breads from lentils and quinoa. All right, guys. So make sure you, again, share and subscribe, comment, and always remember, sweeties, be real, not perfect. Bye. So this is a book that I mentioned that I would share at the end, The Lost Books of Herbal Remedies, The Healing Power of Plant Medicine. And here is the author, if you guys want to pause the video and take that information in. But this book is so useful. You will learn about different herbs that you probably don't know about, you know, even how to dry herbs if you don't know how to dry it. It's so much stuff that you guys will enjoy using, and I really enjoy this book. I read it like almost every day, and here is where you will find information about calendula that I mentioned in the video. And you want to pause it and read, go ahead, because this is the reason that I decided to add calendula to my shea butter and cocoa butter moisturizer. And here you have it, guys. I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you like and subscribe and share these videos with family and friends that will enjoy. Bye.